Hello there, I'm Bob the Fool, and this is a little bit different from my normal videos. I decided to do a tutorial thing about how I do my thumbnails. Basically just because I want to get some feedback on it and get people to give me some advice to figure out how to do it a little bit better. As you can see, I actually draw all my thumbnails by hand beforehand, just because I don't have a tablet or anything to draw on. I'm using GIMP, which is a free program because I can't afford Photoshop, and I just kind of clean up the image, resize everything, and move stuff around as needed. What I tend to do is I tend to use masks a whole lot for this type of thing. Because if I do miss any areas with the white, it doesn't show up as much. But it does do some artifacting. People can think of a good way for me to fix that, or send me to like blogs or videos I can watch to figure out how to take care of these problems. That'd be awesome. But until then, I'm probably just going to continue doing it this way. So yeah, as you can see, I'm refilling everything in with white, and then what I'm going to, because when you copy over to a mask, because I will invert the image and then copy it into a mask, things that you don't fill in come out as black. There's actually an area I missed in there, and you'll see that as I'm coloring in the background. I just pull all my colors from my other videos and just mess around with things from there. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I can say. So I've done a little bit of research on this type of thing, because I used to be an artist way back when, like almost 10 years ago, realistically now. Before I went into math very heavily, because I had a teacher that basically told me, you know, hey, there are absolutely no jobs in art. You will never be able to feed yourself, so you better get used to welfare or poverty. And during that time is when the recession hit, and it just drove me away from art. Maybe that was a good thing, maybe it wasn't a good thing, I'm not sure. But that's what ended up happening. Yeah, I'm just cleaning up everything here. Because I use a mask, I can't really use the fill bucket. But it is what it is. So in a little bit here, I'll be done coloring in myself. And I used levels there because there's a little bit of artifacting along the legs, and I managed to fix that with that. This puddle was really interesting to do, actually, and took me a little bit to figure out how to even do it. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm just filling in the puddle with an arbitrary color, using the wand tool to select it, and then I reverse the selection and feather it pretty heavily. And that's how I did that. If you pay attention to the layers off to the side, I do all of my colors in different layers and then merge them down when I'm done, just so that way it's a little bit easier to keep track of everything. Especially on like large backgrounds like this, where you could easily lose where things are. Yeah, you can see that little bit of artifacting there, and I just filled that in with white, and that took care of that. Yeah. This takes a little bit. So you might notice as it goes back and forth from me being zoomed in to not zoom in, I will turn on and off layers in order to see what's where, in order to fix it best I can. The downside to doing things this way is it does take a very long time. It took me like 3 hours to color this in. Combine that with the fact that it takes me about 2 to 3 hours just to do the original drawing. It means that I have a lot of time being sunk into just my thumbnails. And I enjoy doing the art because it's something I don't get to do very regularly anymore. But it's something I'd like to both get better at and not spend as much time on. That sounds weird. Now, as far as my colors go, I have heard from a couple sources that it is better to stick with pastel colors because of you can do more shading with it, I think is the argument. But I'm not entirely sure about that. That just sounds weird to me. It's kind of like the phase where all video games were in shades of brown. They were making the argument, oh, it's more realistic this way. The thing with bright, vibrant colors is we have bright, vibrant colors that exist because they actually exist out in the real world. If you go outside and you look at the various shades of green on just, you know, trees and grass around your house, you'll probably notice that there is a very large variety of it. It is almost impossible to, you know, duplicate it on a computer almost without being very, very skilled and having a lot of time and patience for it. I think I'm almost done. In a little bit I'm going to be doing, I think, the pool, finishing pool, and if I haven't already, because it needs to be overlaid all the other colors. Yeah, here it is. Oh no, I was just filling in that. How I did that was, once again, I applied a mask to it, so that way I wouldn't have to worry about accidentally erasing any of it and not being able to recreate the image. Yeah, there we go. So that's all me masking that off, so that way I don't have to worry about it. So from here I start doing the shading. And how I do my shading is I just use the soft light template for gradients and opacities, and I just use my darks are just black. It's just pure black. If I need to go darker than that, I'll throw in another layer or two of shading. So I'll actually create like another layer and then go over top of it. But normally I don't do that with these images, which kind of gives them a little bit of a, I guess, computer graphics clip arty feel. Maybe a little bit more cartoony than realistic, that type of thing. So here I was trying to figure out what I want to do with the light. Because this is for Shadowrun and there's a lot of neon lights, I didn't want the light to be just all light, white that goes over top everything. So I instead opted for this red, and then about halfway through of adding the red to everything, I decided that maybe there's a police car nearby, and I start adding the blue to kind of give it that feel. It kind of gets lost in the actual image, as you can see right here, of me, but it's not lost so much in the background. See, this is me noticing, oh hey, I forgot to do all of this part, so I'm fixing up my mistakes. My lines aren't straight, but you know, it's all hand drawn, so what can you do? Didn't have a straight edge on hand. So what I'm doing here is the colors were a bit too bright and vibrant for my liking, so I wanted to mute them down to make it feel a little more like it was night. So that's literally a layer that was created as white noise, and then it was colorized to that color. Now if you look at this image and you look at my thumbnail, my actual thumbnails, you're going to notice that they're going to be a little bit different, and that is because my thumbnails weren't really visible. You couldn't really see anything in them because it was too dark, so I had to lighten it up, along with making the actual logo for the game a little bit bigger. After this, I do take a blending tool to blend it down, and then the colors and stuff are just multiplied on top of the other layers. And here's just kind of me going over a little bit more of the details of the image. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. At this point, you know what to do. Laters.